No, you guys took the little bit of alcohol that I drink in Israel and Lawrence and exacerbated it times 20, okay? So I had a bottle of brandy in there. I don't even know if I drank that in their house. I don't think so because that was from LA. And that was seriously, that was everyone going, dude, we want alcohol, but no one has any money. But look at it. It's the fucking cheapest shit you can get. So if I had money, you think I'm going to buy brandy? And you think I'm going to buy cheap brandy we can't even get through? No, that shit was funk nasty. We were just... People like to drink now. Do what you can. You guys said that I drank a lot of whiskey in their house, and I point out, I believe the only time I drank whiskey in that house in the 5 years I stayed there was at the cutting board with Israel on St. Patrick's Day, right after my miscarriage, and I was so fucking... He even gave me a hug, so I was like, I came in, I was so sad. Your body is so sad when you have a miscarriage. It's like not even voluntary, it's just fucking your body is mourning. Okay. Alcohol. Oh, wine. Then he said I was a huge wino, and I pointed out, well, actually, my drinking did increase to once a week at the tannery, okay, after my miscarriage. So for 3 months there, yeah, every week I had a glass or two of wine. You're right, it did increase, but I'm not a drinker, man. I can't digest it. In fact, if you have footage, Angela and Jessica probably lied, but on my birthday I threw up out my window. Why? Because I drank wine and whatever we had, that champagne or something, whatever they brought that we drink in the living room, and you see me smoking weed, and when I do that, I will puke. I am no good at digesting alcohol. It's kind of really shit. It's like not even funny, man. It's like not fun for me anymore. That's why I don't do it. It's why it's a little ridiculous. You're calling me an alcoholic. I'm like, I couldn't even be one if I wanted to be. I can't do it. Alcohol. Oh, and then the wine, you guys were like, oh, she always drinks wine. I said, well, besides Chloe coming over, I think we drank some wine, split a bottle or something, and so that'd be 2 glasses for me. The only other time I opened a bottle of wine, I didn't finish it, and I wrote some poetry on the foot of my bed. So if I'm able to recall the specific times, it means I'm not, like, ask me when I smoked weed, I'd be like, oh, fuck yourself, dude. Like, I don't fucking know. But I'm able to recall because it's so infrequent. I wouldn't be able to do that as an alcoholic. I also point out, you don't have any proof of me drinking Jack Daniels in there. Then I point out, the only Jack Daniels proof you'd have of the entire time you've been filming me or watching me at all during this or before, it was a little bottle like this, a little sample bottle that was given to me by a liquor promoter in LA, and I didn't drink it. And that's why it was in a drawer first, and then I stuck it in the freezer, and then I gave it to Odette, who wanted it. Why? Because she likes that stuff. Okay. If you're gonna claim more, I'm not fussed that you have proof. I'm just like, whatever. Dragonfly, this is probably one of my favorites. You guys said that I had done 2CI Bromo Dragonfly before the year that the first human consumed it. It's remarkable, let me tell you. And then you went on to play expert and explain the effects of bromo, the long-term effects of bromo Dragonfly. And it's funny because they're only since 2012 have started studying it, and the DEA does not think it's too new. The DEA doesn't even have the answer, and yet your team came up with an expert answer to explain X, Y, and Z. Okay? Jesus Christ. There are several times during this that I'm drinking a soda that your team has called it beers. Now, obviously, I don't get to know what it said to be like, no, it's this. You do it with pineapple juice too, and then you don't prove it. But I can show you some examples of when I think possibly you did it. It's very hard for me to gauge when you say heroin. Now I can show you this again, but when you do heroin, you don't have. It's not like you heal right away, you guys. You guys have said I've been doing this for 10 years, and then I would have 10 years of heroin scars on top of scars on top of scars. Am I the only one that's seen Requiem? Yeah, you might want to check out that movie to know, or Train Spotting. You might want to check them out if you want to talk about heroin, okay, and how detrimental and how frequently they use. Now, a heroin user is using like every 3 hours. You say that I'm using it somewhat constructively. It's actually quite remarkable, as it, like no junkie ever would be able to do this. You're saying that I'm using it only at night, and I'm like, but you failed to see me inject. And then you're saying, what, I'm smoking it? Fucking remarkable that you're never catching any of these things that you're saying. Then I went on to show you the effects of heroin, and I don't have those either. So no marks, no scars. It's like superhuman powers, let me tell you. Meth making. You guys said that I was making meth when actually I was making mescaline, because meth, and I show you, is like a whole slew of pharmaceutical drugs, over the counter, under the counter, nasty shit, man. Cleaning products, like all this shit, man. Okay, and tubes and this and that, and there's like explosions sometimes, and you know, it's like a whole deal. Now, I think you said this for both when I was making weed honey, which looks exactly like making weed honey, and I point this out to you as it's just shake, which is a form of, on a lower, less than nugs, smaller kind of flakes of weed, and a bottle of isopropyl alcohol, which you pour over into a strainer, and it gets, you're getting all the crystals out to turn it into a essence, essentially, an oil, and then you burn off the alcohol and then diffuse it through the honey, which is exactly what you saw. And then the mescaline, I'm pointing out, you chop it up and you boil it for 8 hours and you strain it in like a shirt, which is exactly, it looks like making mescaline. Okay, so now I have people in Santa Cruz and LA recording me and lying about what's on the tape. And it's about drugs, no less. Neither parties have proof to say I was using any of the drugs that they're claiming. Fascinating. And actually in LA, in Silver Lake, I wasn't smoking weed except for with them. I didn't have any of my own. It wasn't until I magically got some weed from a mysterious source up north, not at all from the house of my father, that I had any weed to smoke. Not fucking my fault it was laced. Oh, then I show you, Odette goes, yeah, I think it was laced. Yeah, and she smoked it too. She would know she smokes weed. Okay. Then he went on to say that mescaline made me crazy. Remember that, you guys? In the very beginning, there was an entire different thing, and it was that I was completely normal, and then I just went crazy. And now it's a completely different story. Notice how it changed? Right, because they're just kind of adapting. Just like the sports shit. Okay? And actually, I point out to you, mescaline is used to treat mental illness and fears and phobias, and San Pedro specifically is exceedingly rare that you're going to have a bad trip with San Pedro, which is what I did. You're gonna claim peyote or some shit. Peyotes are buttons. It's like this, which I've never done. I'm not saying I wouldn't, I would, but I haven't. And mescaline is a stalk because it's a cactus, and well, mescaline is in all these different cactuses, but San Pedro is a specific type of five-corner cactus. Okay? And it is legal in Peru. Okay, this is where I first did it, and it is legal to grow or be growing, say, on the sidewalks of LA. Man, I can't help it. That shit fell off into the pot and boiled itself. It doesn't really matter though, because it didn't have enough to do anything. Cool. Right on. And I do point that the stats on having a bad trip on San Pedro specifically is 1 in every 700,000. And then I even went on to pinpoint the exact plant that I had used to show you. Go test it yourself. It's off of Lucille on in LA. Okay. There's not enough to have this. If you cut a foot off, then it's fucking not enough. Okay. Then I point that the mescaline, Mark Cavigli sends me a thing. Oh, hey, this reminds me of you, Mark Cavigli. he reminds me, and he sends me a thing on mescaline, and then I send a thing to my cousin about it. And oh yeah, so I was telling you about, 'cause he was interested. And then also Nathaniel, I'm writing Nathaniel about abstinence. He goes, "How's your quest for abstinence?" And there's a little question there, and I go, "Oh, it's done." And I'm all drugs in a hotel room. He goes, "Whoa," and I'm all, "Oh, I mean mescaline," and it didn't even work. So really, we just ended up smoking weed, like a catalyst, hoping that it would like kick it off. It fucking didn't do anything. Okay. So, and then I think he edited that conversation to make it not look like that. Oh, yeah, here's another thing. You think, I love how you think this. I'm this like huge antisocial crazy bitch, and yet I have this vast network all over the world of ready to go, willing to take the risk, drug dealers, apparently like people that have to pay for sex with and money, and what the, and this whole shady everything, right? And I'm just, everywhere I land, it's already set before me. Oh, and they are very aware they could get caught at any second. There wouldn't be any secondary motivation to help out with me getting all this shit. Oh, okay, guys. Even in Turkey. You said Turkey. I had some. How the fuck am I gonna know in Turkey? I like how, it's quite remarkable, the bullshit that you said, and people believe. Cars. Multiple times now, people have handed me things from a car, and you guys have said it was drugs, and I caught that it's not. Okay. You guys say, oh, she's having withdrawals right now because she's a little sleepy, or maybe she doesn't want to go down into the public, or she's just going to be berated and harassed. What time is it? Oh, it's 10. Oh, it must be withdrawals. And I actually show you what withdrawals look like with these things. It's pretty fucking hardcore. It's not you're sleeping till 10 or not getting up to face the public till 10. It's you're sleeping for 3 days straight. You're not sleeping at all. You're pacing around. You think I'm laying there high on meth? You guys, I'd be pacing up and down the block. Let's be real. Be itching. All these drugs, by the way, crack, meth, and heroin, like this. And they're not picking deliberately at their skin. They're like this. Okay? And it's because they think that there's like bugs in their skin or